Hey, everybody. How you doing, Karen?
I'm doing great. Andrew, how are you?
Good, very good, very good.
Good,
So
good. No, glad to be here.
Excellent. So it's 3 p.m. Pacific time here in California, and therefore it's 9 a.m. Australian time, correct?
Yes, on a Saturday. Yeah, 9 a.m.
Day ahead, yeah.
I'm glad we got that right.
Time zones.
That's right. That's right.
Let's see. We already have Andrew Nichols watching from the UK. Good to see you here, Andrew.
Hi, Andrew.
And Douglas Porter, who was presenting in the Digital Art Talk the other day. Here he is.
He was, fantastic to hear and see his work. Hi, Doug. Love his work.
Sandra, I don't know if Sandra's here yet to watch, but yeah. Team's all here.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Sandra, I hope you're here. She's still sleeping, maybe. Saturday morning.
So people are coming in. So just let me remind everyone, welcome. Let us know where you are watching from. Usually get quite the international crowd. So Douglas says, hi, Karen.
Hi, Doug. I'm so glad you tuned in.
And for Andrew, he says it's currently 10 p.m. in the UK for him.
Oh, thanks for staying up, Andrew.
It's also confusing with the whole daylight savings time going on now in the States. So I think originally when you and me were doing a tech run through, I think we might have been an hour earlier. And then I surprised Sandra with the digital art talk by being an hour earlier.
That's right. And then I woke up really early this morning just because I wasn't sure, and I messaged you to make sure.
All these time zones. And then we got Celis Photography in Northern California. Good to see you here. We got Buzz Charnock from Baltimore, who I remember seeing in the Facebook groups. So yeah, thanks everyone for being here.
Awesome.
So yep, let us know where you're watching from.
Yeah. It's a beautiful day here in Melbourne, sunny. We're off camping after this, so
nice.
Beautiful weekend. Yep.
And is it like summer season for you now in Australia?
It's ending. Yeah. It's towards the end of it, but we still get some hot days. Yeah.
And our winter is kind of ending and spring is about to start here.
Nice.
And let's see. Yeah. Andrew Nichols says my bedtime isn't until 3 a.m. Whoa.
Wow.
Rock star right now here, Andrew. There.
No. I'm definitely a 9 to 5 sort of person. I can't. Once I hit 5 p.m., I'm pretty much gone. I can't work after that.
Oh, good.
Alana
Lee is here. Yeah, from Canada.
Yeah.
Nice.
Hi.
Good to see her. Yeah, she does similar work too, as well, right?
She's very talented. She's also one of my mentors in the masterclass this round too. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was part of the. I forgot the name, but it was the tap, the plastic tap series.
That's right.
With part of that.
Ben Von Wong. That's right.
Ben Von Wong. That's it.
Yeah. 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 I was part of that as well. It was fantastic.
Yeah, I did a piece too. It was fun.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to win a prize or something. They had all these prizes and stuff. I was hoping to win something, but we got Facebook users saying good evening, which reminds me to let everyone know that if you are on Facebook watching through one of the groups, please give StreamYard permission to show your name and profile pics so I'll be able to credit you when you comment or ask questions. You should see the link right underneath the live video, StreamYard.com/Facebook. Just give that a click, give it permissions, and jump back. And let's see. Douglas says Alana's work is awesome. Yeah.
Certainly is. She wins all the prizes too, by the way. You're talking about prizes. The different events that we've run, and Alana has actually entered, and for some reason she wins every single time.
Nice.
Mm.
Well, you do great work too, and Douglas, who's watching, does good work, and hopefully some people like my work.
I know they do.
It's quite yeah. She says, you guys are too kind. Hi, good. So seems like a lot of people are coming in now. So do you want to introduce yourself, Karen? Let us know about yourself.
Absolutely. Yeah, I can. So, hey everyone, I call myself a photographic artist. So I do everything that I do now is all to do with Photoshop and compositing and photography. I used to be a wedding and portrait photographer, and I did that for many, many years. And then when my kids were born, I found that wedding photography just got really, really difficult to do that. I was shooting with my husband and, trying to get them babysat. I'm sure people have gone through this. So I started looking for something that I could do, that I could fit around family life a bit better, that I could use the creativity that I knew I had in me. And I started experimenting with Photoshop compositing. And so that was around 8 years ago now. And I basically jumped in head first. I kind of took the opportunity to put aside everything else that I was doing and just really experiment. And I started creating works. I entered them into competitions. I entered them into the AIPP competition. Sadly, the AIPP is no longer, but back then I entered and I came away with quite a few golds and silvers, and I realized that it was something that maybe I should pursue and something that I was doing quite well. So I just kept going, and now I am able to live off this really happily. And I do this sort of work in a number of different genres. So I do commercial work. I have an art gallery. I sell my work. I do work for families. So I call that domestic work. I have a charity called the Heart Project, which many of you may have heard of, where we do that as a voluntary service for families that have children that have disabilities and sicknesses, and we're able to sort of free them in the image from those, at least temporarily. So that is a big part of what I do. But yeah, I'm really excited today to talk about making money from this, because I know it can seem a little bit hard sometimes in such a niche type of market.
And I was also going to say, don't forget to tell people that you've also been a presenter teacher at Adobe Max. And,
I'm wearing my Adobe Max t-shirt.
Oh, cool. Okay.
I thought I'd put that on today.
I won this at like an Adobe Max event online last year.
Oh, nice. Yeah, this is the speaker one. This is the last time I was there in person, though, 2017. I've since done it online, but yeah, it's been an interesting few years with being stuck in Melbourne.
And have you ever taught for Creative? Was it Creative Live?
Creative Live, absolutely, yes. So I've got 2 classes on there. The first class I did in 2016 over there, and that's I did a Alice in Wonderland themed image. We got a rabbit into the studio. That was a lot of fun, and I show people how to dress the rabbit and put everything together. And then I did another Creative Live class last year, and I had to film that from here. But yeah, that's all about compositing, and yeah, they both cover lots of different aspects. So definitely worth having a look at that. Yeah. I've taught in many different kind of places. It's been that's what's been awesome, actually, just going from being a regular wedding and portrait photographer, then trying something new, something that's quite niche, and then having these opportunities to share on different stages around the world, and to be an ambassador for many different companies as well. It's been really amazing, and I'm really thankful. Yeah.
And shall we share your website now?
Yes, you can share my website now. Yeah. So, I've got Lightroom up here, but I'll go back over to my website.
There's some great work there.
Yeah. So I've actually got quite a few websites. So I was actually struggling on how to bring everything together to make it really, really easy for people to get to all the different things. So what I've created here is, and I'll probably talk about it a little bit today, is a landing page that's very mobile friendly as well, that gives people, they can quickly jump to whatever they're interested in. So if it's the art gallery, or if it's the more commercial work that they want, or if it's about the heart project, or if it's the learning. So I have a site, Story Art Education, and I run masterclasses. And so, yeah, it was important to me to kind of have everything.
And
really
I was going to say
easy.
that's very nice to see, because I see a lot of websites where it's like hard to find information for the other sites, sub-sites,
Yeah.
social networks, or even to contact. So yeah, nice.
Yeah, absolutely. And because, yeah, I've got different people that I'm talking to, they might actually be interested in these different aspects, like a few of them. So yeah, that it's important that they're there. But I've just recently started working out how to bring more people to this website as well. So I've got it on my car, I've got it on everything. I've got
You have
I've
like your
got
website
QR
address
codes.
on your car?
Yeah, I do. I do. And do you know what? It saved me. It actually helped me find my AirPods again, because I lost I lost my AirPods when I was out photographing, and I didn't know where they went. And they actually had fallen out next to my car at a shopping center. And I later had someone ring me up and go, "Oh, I found your AirPods." And they had looked at my car and seen the website on it, and they were able to look me up. The weird thing was, it ended up, they were one of the families that we photographed at Monash Children's Hospital the previous year
Wow.
for Christmas Wish for the Heart Project. It's such a small world.
Very
But yeah,
small. Yeah.
having
Wow.
your website on the car is a great option.
Sure.
But yeah, having people be able to access it and get to things quickly, and even save your contact, like save your V card. Yeah, it's just one way to maybe keep in touch with people and make sure they can get back to you and not forget about you. So
Smart.
yeah,
Smart.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Great.
yeah. So yeah, where to from here? Would you?
You want to
We're
jump to
talking about.
your show a little bit of your Behance or Instagram? Or,
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, as you can see, I've got linked to all these different things. So Behance, I use predominantly to tell the stories behind the images, um, because I used to have a blog that I was bad at kind of keeping up with. But what I find is, by posting in Behance and putting some stories behind the images, I get more traction.
nice.
People find me, particularly commercial clients on Behance. It's a good place to be. So if I, click on, say, this one here, people can kind of go through and see, okay, this was actually commercial work. This is the brief. This is the work that came out of it. Here's some videos behind the scenes,
Nice.
and it's all there. Yeah, yeah. So I link to that and try and keep it up to date as much as
A lot of
possible.
very nice options on Behance too, where you can not
Mm,
only, post your work, but as you said, you can post videos, you can embed videos. They even have now a feature where if you do sell your work as NFTs, you can link to your
mm.
NFT gallery. So that's very nice
I
that they
did see
have
that.
so many features. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I did see that. And the live video thing, I've trialed. I've kind of got on there and done that. But I did just recently do an Adobe Live presentation
Nice.
for Adobe, and that went through Behance as well. And then they've linked back to me on that. So yeah,
The hard
well,
thing
it's
is
well worth checking out.
the hard thing is finding the time for everything, right?
Yes, that is the hard thing. It's one of those things that once I finish an image, it will take me a good day to kind of put it in all the places that I need to put it, because you need to sort of post on all your socials, and yeah, you need to kind of get all the information up and work out what are you going to post. My Instagrams look, it used to look nice. I had it all laid out really nicely, and then I sort of realized, at the type of art that I do, I quite often spend quite some time working on an image, and I can't post every day a new image.
Yeah.
It's just not doable. An image will take about 50 hours to create. So I like to post about many different things on here. My adventures, I tend to kind of turn some of those things into black and white, so it breaks it up a little bit. When I'm speaking, different things. And I've decided in the end, I got tired of trying to make it look pretty when you actually jump into that. I know some people have their Instagrams laid out really, really well. And when you look at it in this view, it shows up beautifully. But I struggled with that because of the work that I'm doing. So I kind of put my effort into just making sure each post is really interesting and that each post individually gets a bit of traction. So that's kind of how I
It's so hard to keep up the whole schedule of posting everywhere, you know.
It is. It's really difficult. And I am still probably not utilizing the whole Reels thing and everything yet. That's one other thing that is time consuming. So I think that the important thing when you with anything is finding the spaces that you work well in and spending the time and effort in there and not trying to spread yourself too thin. Facebook is another one that I spend a bit of time in, but I have found probably in the last couple of years there's not as much traction as there has been in the past. And my internet's not terribly fast in Australia, so it's still loading. But so I make sure that I spend my time in the areas where I've got that interaction. Oh, there's a message from you there, Andrew. I'll close that. It's really important though to have a great website that people can find that information.
It's smart to have the map there too. So.
Yeah. Well, because I actually have a little gallery. I wanted to talk about that because I decided just before COVID hit to set up a gallery on site. Now I'm actually on a residential property. So our house is on the same block. We found this house and it wasn't on the market. And so about 10 years ago, we put a letter in their letterbox and asked if they wanted to sell because it had the perfect part of land on here on a main road on a tourist sort of road that goes up to the Dandenong Ranges. And I thought I can build a studio here and I can make it quite commercial, but it still fits under home business because obviously when you kind of working on a residential property, you need to fit within all the council regulations. Sure. Yeah. So all that happened, built the studio, which is what I'm in at the moment. So it's fully self-contained. It's got everything that I need. It's completely separate from the house. But then
I was just saying, I'm not sure if the art gallery is loading. It looks like it's pulsating.
Oh, it's bounced. I had my mouse on it. Sorry, that was a bit annoying, wasn't it? I'll click on it and then it'll load.
Just say it's alive. It's alive.
That's right. But yeah, so I wanted to have a space where people could come and look at my art in person and see it and see the prints. And I don't have much space out there. I'm sort of pointing out this window, but I set up a gallery, an in-person gallery. So this is my online gallery, which links to my in-person gallery. And this is where people can come and look at all my work and the latest work pops up and they can buy it and so forth. And that's all linked to the work that's in the gallery as well. So people can come and go to my physical gallery even when I'm not here. So I have it set up so it's automated. The lights turn on, the TV turns on, everything starts and then stops at the end of the day. And then people can come and go all day. And I know if they come because I've got a camera. And nice. I can kind of have that happening even when we go camping. People can keep coming. And so it's been really good. And even we've had lockdown and Melbourne's been one of the hardest hit with that. So during lockdown, I couldn't have it open, but
sure.
But I have people come every day and it's fantastic. So I have plans to build a bigger gallery out there. Excellent. And maximize the space. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah. So what did you want me to talk about or cover? Were there any particular questions yet or?
Yeah, well,
because I did.
First, we'll ask that. Yeah. Is there any questions that you have for Karen right now? So. Sometimes people are just kind of taking it in. So.
Yeah.
Douglas does say such amazing organizational skills as well and use of available technology. See, it's all very
Thank you,
nicely
Dan.
organized to show your work too. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But I was going to ask you, did you want to just kind of like hone in on some of your work and talk about your
Yeah,
work? Did you want to jump into Photoshop? It's up to you. I mean, what,
I was going to share a little bit about this particular project, so this Animal Tales exhibition, because I think it will encourage people to think outside of the box when it comes to how can you get your work out there and how can you actually get paid for your work. So this is an exhibition that's going to take place from the 2nd of April, and it will run for 3 months in a place called Puffing Billy. It's a steam train in the Dandenong Ranges. It's a very well-known tourist attraction.
now,
And
can I
what
say
happened
something?
was so you're freezing or something there, Andrew,
Yeah, no,
but
I was going
I'm
to
still live, I think.
I think I'm live too. Yeah. I was just going to say something
Oh, I
before you
don't know.
jump in. Something before you jump in is just in the beginning when Karen was showing her website and all that. Even before we started the discussion about creating art, selling your art. First thing is pay attention to how well organized she is. I mean, that website itself touches upon all the bases of the social networks, information, easy access to her gallery. That itself is a very good example of a great way to promote yourself and keep people informed about your work and what you're working on. So, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
Just wanted to.
No problem. And I just noticed how much beautiful Melbourne sunlight is coming through my blinds there. So I'm going to lower that down. There we go. So, yeah, while we were in lockdown, it did get it got quite depressing for a lot of people, I think, in not being able to plan and not knowing what they could do to further their business. For me, I wanted to create, but I couldn't even go out and photograph new things because we were not allowed to travel or work. But in between lockdowns, we went and visited Puffing Billy, and because it's about 10 minutes away. So we went up there as a family, and they were building an incredible facility. So a visitor center that was a $20 million facility that has a shop, it has a restaurant, it has a museum, and it was nearly finished. So I got an idea that I thought, well, why don't I create some work that would completely connect to them? So this series down here, if I click on this, this is the first one that I created here.
Nice.
This was a demo image that I thought I'll start with this one, putting Australian animals around Puffing Billy in the steam train or connected to the area, so connected to the Dandenong Ranges. And I thought I'll create 2 prototypes, 2 first pieces, and I'll send them an email. And I had previously worked with them on a couple of things, so I did have a connection already with Puffing Billy. But I thought I'll send them an email and I'll see if they're interested in firstly merchandising the work, because they have the tourist shop, putting them on t-shirts and mugs and coasters and whatever else they wanted to do, and also suggesting an exhibition. And so I sent this one and I sent this one here. So the kookaburra on the train, and I created these with the images that I had in my stock collection because I couldn't go out and photograph again. So I had to go back and look at what do I have that I can kind of work with. And I use Lightroom. So this is Lightroom Creative Cloud. I've got now 37,000 images in there. And these are photos that I've taken. And I can just go through and type train. And because of the AI in Lightroom, it will bring up all of the train images or anything it thinks is a train in there. And that's all, this is all my photography. So I really prefer to work with my own photos when I'm creating rather than use stock. And so this is my stock collection, which is fantastic. Just I always take a camera with me wherever I go. So some of the shots might even be taken on my phone and other shots taken with my real camera. I've now got the Nikon Z9, which I'm loving, but I've also got like a little Nikon ZFC, which I sort of throw in my bag. And so I was able to go back and look into all of the images and go, okay, I've got enough to work with and create a few of the images that I wanted to. So I created these first two, and then I sent them to Puffing Billy and I said, I'm creating this series. Are you interested? Perhaps we can, you can merchandise them, license them for use, and we could maybe have an exhibition. And they did get back to me, and they were really excited about the idea. So we kind of went from there, and we'd gone back into lockdown at that point. And so I just worked back and forth with them via video chats and email. And we got to the point where I was able to create 6 of these pieces, and they paid for licensing, and then are now selling them in their shop up there, and they're selling really, really well.
Nice.
And so that was awesome to be able to do something with a local business and to work collaboratively with them. And then we had the meetings about the exhibition. And I'm really excited about this. This is actually my first solo exhibition. It's a bit weird in that it's not at a gallery, but that's fine. Like, we don't have to be traditional in the way that we approach things. So all of these images, all of these pieces, so we're calling it Animal Tales, and all of my pieces that I've included here are, my mouse battery is very low. That's not good, is it? I'll turn that off. All of the pieces that I've created here are going into the exhibition. And like these ones here, the animal puns, they will be nearly 2 meters long, so 1.8 meters long by 1 meter high. So they're going to be massive. We're getting some stands being built specifically for this. And then the others will be about 1 meter by 1 meter, and they'll be all sort of throughout the facility. And then there'll be some video screens that I put a presentation on, QR codes, information, and I'll sell prints. And so tourists are going to be coming and going for 3 months, seeing all of this work, and yeah, it's going to be exciting. So that just came from a little walk.
So a question I had about, selling your art, the business of it. So you'll have a large image like this, but then you can sell, say like 2 or 3 feet big prints of these, of course, right?
Yeah, so what I'm doing, because it's such a high traffic area, there's probably a lot of kids going through, I don't want to have the concern that the canvases are going to get damaged. So I'm doing them as display pieces, which when we've finished the exhibition, we might move them on to another location, or Puffing Billy might buy them, but they're just displays. So we're not worried about whether they get damaged before sale. But I'm going to have prints available there in different sizes, and people will be able to buy them. But to make it easier for Puffing Billy, and I do this in cafes and things as well, is that there's going to be a QR code and also see this little thing on the back there? An NFC tag that I program, and people tap it, and that takes them straight to the payment payment page. So they just buy it, they show it on exit, and off they go with their piece. So I'm trying to make it easy for everyone, and it means that no one has to take a cut either. So that works really, really well too. Yeah.
Right. And one of the questions I was going to ask you, hinted at, was that you have it in different sizes too, so people can choose different sizes of a certain piece they like. So nice.
Yes, that's right. So I print in-house. I've got an Epson P8070, so I can print on demand. So if they want something really big, if they want the canvas at the size that it's showing, they can order that. So my website and the online gallery will have access to all of that. So they can go in and they can order that, and then I'll deliver it. But the prints that I have available at the exhibition will be a bit smaller. So probably like A2 size and A3 size. And I'll just print them as needed. So I can keep going up and making sure that there's enough there to be sold. So. Yeah,
nice.
yeah. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
So
something new.
I do a similar thing with my gallery here too. You know, their pieces on display are on display only. And then if they want, they can buy, there's a few things that are available to take with them, or they can order something that I'll print for them at within a
So,
few days.
Celis Photography says NFC tab, question mark.
Yeah,
So,
okay. So this is this is confusing because these little things, and you can get them in business card size as well, or and you can
and it
print on them
and
with
is this
dye
something that could
sublimation.
be is this something that could be in America as well, or is it an Australian
It should
thing?
be, yeah,
Yeah, okay.
absolutely should be. The NFC, so if you look them up, they're near frequency communication. And so what happens is when you tap it, I can demonstrate that. I'm going to take my phone out of its case. And okay, so when you tap on an iPhone, it comes up at the
Hmm.
top and you just click and open, and it will open whatever you program it to open. So for this tab, it opens that
So just
website.
so when you meet someone, they're seeing your work and you're talking about your work, you can just hold up your phone, they can tap it,
Mhm,
and then immediately
mhm.
it goes to like your website, as you're saying.
Yeah, that's right. That's
Smart,
right. And on an
smart.
Android, it's even better. You don't know, you just tap it and it comes straight up. iPhones ask you. I've even put on my watch. Uh, this
You're
is
really
awkward.
technology embraced, right? You're embracing all of
I
that
am.
stuff.
I am. I'm a bit of a tech geek. So
Great,
I've got the QR
sure,
code. It's not
smart.
focusing, but I've got the QR code on the watch as well. So yeah, if I don't have anything with me but my watch, I can get them to scan it because I'm actually so bad at carrying around business cards. I don't know if anyone else is the same,
Right.
but
So the
people ask
lesson
me for
learned
business
is
cards.
you need to embrace technology and use every avenue to get the
Yeah,
word out for your site or your shows,
yeah.
events that you're
Yeah,
doing.
yeah.
Yeah, great.
That's right. Even to the point where you got to think what's going on around you. If I go to Photoshop on my screen share here and I go
Okay.
over to here,
Yeah,
this is what I did yesterday, right? I print this because there are roadworks happening. There's actually a sewage system being put in here, which is
sure.
fantastic, finally. And so for the next 3 months, they're working on the road, and all the cars are banking back. So they're all like they're actually literally almost parked in front of my gallery and studio. So I'm putting out as many signs as I can, and I've got to do more of them, but I put this really big on the fence. So if they're just pulled up there, they can scan it and go to
Smart.
my website while they're waiting. Yeah. Yeah.
Great.
So you've got to just think about what's going on. How can you get people's attention? I've got the caravan that we're taking camping. I have wrapped that with my art. Like the whole thing is covered in my art, and it's got story art all over it. So people can see my work, and the same on the car as well. The back of the car, I've created a piece that makes it look like the animals are sitting in the boot. And I always get people stopping like I see them, I've parked the car, I see them taking photos of it and selfies and things like that. So
Nice.
yeah, there's many ways.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, and I think that's a
Yeah.
very good thing for other artists to hear is that, intelligent, creative ways to get people to see your work and, contact you because, I know a lot of us are introverts and we tend to not market ourselves as much as we should. And it really is good to kind of get your work out there every which way because you never know what's
Mm,
going to strike with someone. Someone might like a different thing. And
yeah.
you're
Yeah.
using a lot of the different options. Great. Great.
That's right. Yeah, yeah. The other thing that if you're doing this kind of work, you really do need people to see it. I'm often talking to people and they ask, "What do I do?" And I start trying to explain it, and then it just gets to, "Why don't I just show you?" So I use Lightroom for that on my phone as well. I can quickly kind of click to the different album that I want to show them, but they need to see it, and if they don't see it they don't understand it. So the same thing too with getting your work out there. Because I print my own work, so because I've got access to be able to print my own work, I do big prints and I put them up in as many places as I can. I've got the
Mm,
sick as a dog. If I bring that one up on the screen, Here we go. This one is up at the doctors at the
Oh,
local
perfect.
general practice. Yeah. And they get so many comments about it. And I've got work from this. So people have contacted me, said, I saw this at the doctors and I really want you to do something for me. Obviously, you put an information piece of whatever, flyers there and information there about you and a QR code and so forth. But yeah, putting it up around the place. The only problem or downside with putting it up in places that rent is they can't put nails in their wall, and those sticky things tend to not work after about a year.
Right.
And this did fall off the wall recently, and they rang me up and they said, "Oh, can you come and fix it?" Fortunately, it didn't fall on anyone's head. Otherwise, they probably would need the doctor. But yeah.
And not to jump ahead, but there was another thing that I wanted to say that you do very well. That's really good for people contacting you, seeing your work. Is your branding. So you keep the phrase or the title story art through your different accounts. So as an
Mhm.
example, you can find Karen at storyart.com. Also, if you go to the Behance, it's story_art. And then on Facebook, it's Story Art Australia.
Yeah, I couldn't get story out by itself,
Uh,
unfortunately, for some of them. But yeah, it's the name's really important, and it's funny that um, because other people are doing this kind of work, or they might learn from me, or they might have a desire to create this kind of work. It's become a little bit like, um, do you have? So if you're going to Hoover, you've got Hoover over there, right? So people say I'm going to Hoover the floor, or maybe they say
oh, you mean
vacuum, or
vacuum cleaner?
yeah, but instead they say the brand. So I
Right.
often hear people saying, "This is my story art," and I don't get concerned about that, because it's sort of become like a thing that people see this type of work, which is
Mhm.
my brand, and they call it story art.
Smart. Smart.
Yeah. So
Yeah, and in the
it's
States, a big one is if someone makes a photocopy, they say, "Do you want a Xerox of that?" So
yeah,
Xerox
exactly.
is a big. Yep.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So
Good.
it's not a bad thing. But yeah, there's millions of different ways to kind of get your work out there. One of the things I did want to talk about was video, because I know that lots of people can be a bit scared about video and creating something, and it's something that I've been doing since I began, and even before, when we were doing weddings, is integrating video into it and telling the story through a video, and making something or putting something together that helps people understand how something was created. And those videos are a huge part of my marketing as well. And so they're on YouTube, they're on Behance, they're on everything. And at this exhibition, I'm going to be setting up the TVs so that the video plays at the top. So I'm going to have TV's portrait orientation.
Great.
Videos play at the top, and then the information about the artwork that the video is connected to is down below with the QR code and information about it. So having a video for all the different pieces that I've created really, really helps. And then I just play it on my gallery on a rotation. I sort of think that a lot of my work has come from people seeing that. Not only that, it helps them know what work goes into it. So it actually helps them value it. So they don't come to me going, "I've got $100, can you make me something?" They come to me saying, "I know you're going to be expensive, but can you create me something?"
Right.
Because, and it's not because they know the price, it's because they've seen the work. Yeah.
And so will you also create like a video for people of their work or something, or is that
I don't
not so?
offer that because I don't call myself, well, yeah, I don't call myself a videographer as
Right, right.
such. I do it sometimes for other things. Like I've done a lot of live streaming with Nikon and helping with different events, but that's not my core. And I think
Sure.
it's really important to as much as you can stick to your core, because then you can focus in on it. Otherwise, you can get a little bit too spread out. So so I teach people how to do it, and I encourage people to do it. But it's easy though. It's a lot of the time I just pass people that have never touched a video camera before, I just pass them one of my Nikon Zs, have it all set up for them and say, can you film behind the scenes? And they film me doing whatever I'm doing. And then I use that footage and put that into the piece.
Right. So speaking of video, did you want to share the video and I jump over to that
I
view?
think that's a good segue. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's a good segue. So what I'll
I heard the
share
cue.
with
I heard
you.
the cue.
Yep.
So I'm
That's right. That's right. I'll share with you the homeless wombat. Now, some people may have seen that one. But yeah, it really tells the story of the creation, the photographic part of it. So the
Right.
wombat one that I'm talking about just before I go to the video is this one here. This was a huge undertaking, but we photographed the wombats in the studio here. They're rescue wombats, and they came into the studio and I photographed them. I didn't dress them or anything like that. You'll see in the video how I did it, but I did make sure the lighting matched to what I wanted to do with the background, and all of the elements are really specifically thought out to help tell the story of what these wombats face, but in a human-like situation. So
Right.
I will, jump over to homeless wombat. Let's go.
Right, well, the little grey one is Bonnie, and she came from Yarram. A farmer saw the dead mum near his gate and noticed that this little one was trying to get back in the pouch, so she was very stressed. So he picked her up and brought her to a carer locally. The carer didn't take wombats, so she called me to take her on. So I drove to Moe and met up with her. So BB, she came from Cockatoo. She didn't even take it out of the bag. It was so stressed. The young man hit the mum. He was beside himself, but noticed the little one traipsing after mum, and he didn't know what to do. So it was on the same weekend. So both of them came on the same weekend. They've got no mum, no normal milk. Please check the pouch, because the babies have got viability. They're allowed to have a chance in life. And if you don't feel comfortable, let a carer go there. Slow down at night time, because dusk and dawn, they're out. They want that juicy grass on the side of the road. For the little orphans, they deserve a chance. Goodness.
I just love talking.
There's a lot, yeah. What's this one? Oh, wow. Thank you so much. Oh, it is right now. It's going to take quite a place. Thank you. It's gorgeous.
I have another surprise for you.
Oh, wow. Oh. Look at the size of it.
that's sweet.
Yeah. So you saw too at the end. That's my little gallery that I took her into. That I have set up. It doesn't need to be a huge space. It's a tiny house on wheels, actually.
Wow.
Got
Nice.
it on bought on the back of a truck and painted it and set it up so that it could be somewhere that I could exhibit. Yep.
Yeah, very, very sweet creatures they seem to be as well, right?
They are. They were super cute. It's been so amazing to do this series and to get so close to animals that you normally you normally wouldn't, and in some instances get cuddles with them. But they do have to, over time, kind of let go a little bit, so that when the animals or when the wombats are really little, they kind of look after them like they're a baby. But as they grow up, they have to distance themselves so that they can let them back into the wild.
Sure.
But really cute. So
yeah, Andrew Nichols says, I want a baby wombat.
so do I. Yeah. That rescue is amazing though. She literally, like, the work that she puts into looking after them, it is like a newborn, having newborns, like the work that they go through. And I've learned so much doing this series.
Nice. Yeah, very nice.
Yeah.
So for all your compositions, you take direct or real photos of the animals. It's not like ever stock imagery right. So
No, that's right. And I do take many different photos at times to be able to blend them together. The echidna here is made up of probably about 8 different pieces in here. So you've got like different arms, all the same echidna, all photographed at the same time, just before it was released into the wild. But yeah, just the different pieces, because it needs to be all in focus. It needs to be all sharp. It needs to be the right angles.
What do you call the what do you call the animal?
Echidna.
Right, because
it's kind
also
of
like a porcupine, right?
Kind of, yeah. It's got the spikes. So when the rescuer's holding it, they have to hold it with really thick gloves on so that it doesn't spike them.
Yeah, nice.
But really cute little things. But to photograph that normally out in the wild, I wouldn't be able to get any shots like this, because sometimes I did during lockdown. My family walked down the road and they rang me and they said, there's an echidna on the side of the road, come down, because they knew I was wanting to work on an echidna piece. And I came down, and of course it's just walking along, and I can photograph it, but I'm not going to get the underneath, and it often hides its head. They hide their head and curl up as well really quickly. So to be able to create work like this, I've had to connect with many different rescuers so that I can photograph what I need to make it happen. So it's been fun.
Nice.
This one's for the Puffing Billy one as well. This the scene was photographed in the steam train, and I had them kind of stoking the furnace so that it all had all the hot coals in there, and just creating that so that I could make it look like this little echidna was scooping the coal into the furnace. So that's it's good fun.
Very nice. Excellent.
Does anyone have some questions?
Yeah, that was going to ask, any questions, please ask. A lot of times people are just kind of taking it in and getting inspired. It's hard to get artists to ask questions sometimes.
Did you want me to talk a bit about commercial work? Because I know that's sort of another aspect, which this Puffing Billy one is sort of partly commercial, I guess. It's a bit of a mix, really, because it's commercial because it's licensed work, but it's also my art that gets to be exhibited. But I've done some commercial work, and if I jump over to here, I'm going to go to this one. This is probably one of my favorites. So I did a series for a school, which is the 4 different pieces that are called Your Future Today. So it's all about the child living their future dreams of what they would like to be. And in this case, it's a chef. And just setting that up. And this was photographed in the actual commercial kitchen that the school has. And it was set up to really stand out because, there's so many school images out there and they all look the same, kids in uniforms just kind of working or looking at things. And so the school hired me to do something really different. And they've put these on buses, on the side of buses, on billboards, on, online. So it's a really strong series that sets them apart and people recognize this everywhere. So this one's the author.
I was gonna say I could see these as like a poster for like a Netflix show. You know, I could see it for a show on TV or cable. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So yeah, they certainly stand out. This is obviously the scientist. So we had to, with this one, get make sure that everything was safe. So we had real science teachers in doing all of the special experimental stuff, and then photographing all of the different pieces. I did use some stock in this, so the background scene is stock because I just couldn't find a location that would work. So I do use stock, particularly in commercial work, if I need to, because you need to make sure that you're balancing out what you're earning and the time that you put into things. And when it comes to commercial work, you can't probably spend as long on traveling. Like I would have probably had to travel to some weird place to try and get a scene like this. So yeah. But so that series, I've got a video actually that goes a bit behind the scenes on this particular series, so we could show that.
Great.
It creates quite a stir and creates a lot of interest. Ventura do the rail replacement, and this bus was used, and there was a lot of comments made, and the images were fantastic.
It's certainly advertised the school, absolutely. People are driving around to seeing that and they're recognising that, so that's the school that Ben goes to. So, yeah, it's been great. So the day we did this was great fun. I'll never forget that. It was wonderful. From then on, I've sort of followed your work and seen how it's progressed. It's magnificent.
You are creative. You have creative ideas, but you haven't found someone that can bring those ideas to life. I'd love to be that someone for you. I can take an idea and make the impossible possible. My photographic art works on all platforms. Cinematic animations, flyers, bus wraps, billboards, websites. As a worldwide award-winning advertising photographer, I'll make sure your advertising campaign is never forgotten.
Very nice. Very nice. I think you're muted for a second there. You're back.
Is that better?
Yep.
Awesome.
I was going to say, it must be very satisfying to have your work on the bus like that, to see your work large. Great.
It's very satisfying. Yeah, the bigger the better. And that bus actually passes me every day, so it's super cool. I've done the work that I've been able to do that has enabled me to have some big prints has been super. I've also got some really big pieces up in a hotel. They commissioned me to create some pieces that are like 3 meters tall, and they're in the foyer. It's really satisfying to have your work that big. Yeah.
So my friend Andrea, who goes by Professor Batslatson, she says these images are awesome and also, oh my goodness, so inspiring. Yeah, very nice.
Thank you.
And then Andrew says amazing.
Thanks, Andrew.
So,
yeah. It is. It's a balance, I think, too. Like people, some people don't want to do commercial work, and I completely understand that because there is a lot of stress that goes into commercial work. Yeah. There's much more back and forth than there might be if you're creating for yourself. There's higher expectations, but at the same time, you should charge more because there is higher expectations. There is a lot more back and forth. So I go through these phases of, I really want to do more commercial work. No, I really want to do more art. No, I really want to do more domestic work just for families. And I've realized, because at first I thought, maybe I should just focus on one thing. But I've realized that's my pattern, and I just go with it now. So I'm doing the same genre of work, but it can cover a whole lot of different bases. So it's good.
Yeah, I worked for advertising in my earlier days, and that got very demanding, the kind of client work. But creating my own work is very kind of liberating. Very I create very surreal images, which is not necessarily what you would see with client work. So
Yeah.
So,
No, I think that's important. It's important to, if you are just doing commercial work, to do something for yourself as well, so you have that freedom.
oh,
Yeah.
and here's a good question from Andrew Nichols. So, do you ever get a commission and think, how the blankety blank am I going to do this?
No, yeah, not really. I have this philosophy that anything is possible. And
Good
I think
philosophy.
as I've grown in the work that I've done, and I've established a strong skill set, that I have found many different ways to do things or to achieve things. And I like that challenge. If there is something that seems a little bit out there that I haven't really done before, I actually really like it, and I find a way to do it. It's hard when you first start out in compositing, because if you don't know how to do something, it actually limits what you can do, because you can't see a way to do it. But as you grow in it and as you learn more, the world opens up, and you go,
Sure.
that it's possible to really kind of achieve anything. And sometimes it might be that you go outside of the scope of what you'd normally do. So for me, that might mean I integrate some 3D elements, or I'm really wanting to do more in the way of adding cinemagraphs to my portfolio. I've done it quite a bit. I actually built a cinemagraph plugin with another partner, and it's called Artimate, and some of you might have purchased it. We ran that for about 3 years, but because Photoshop keeps updating and we got really busy, we couldn't kind of sustain it. It does still work though, if anyone's got it installed. But I think just thinking outside of the box and coming up with new things, and I love that. So I don't know if that
Right.
answers the question, but
Yeah,
yeah.
and Andrea says good outlook, good
Yeah.
philosophy.
Yeah. The harder thing is, to be honest, when your creativity is stifled. So I do get work where at first the person that hires me says, yeah, I want you to do this and I really like your work. And then they end up kind of stifling it and making it just quite simple, or like their own kind of style. That's harder
Sure.
than when you get that freedom to just go crazy. That's what I enjoy. Yeah.
I bet.
But you get the good with the bad. You can't always have
Got to move with the
awesome.
flow, right?
You've got to. Yeah. That's exactly right. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
So, any other questions for Karen? Yeah.
I just wanted to share, no matter what it is that you're doing, whether you're doing work for yourself, whether you're doing work for domestic clients, as I call them, so families, or for pets, or commercial work, there's actually always ways to make money from it too. So even if you are doing work for yourself and artwork, you can think about ways to bring in some income from that. And even if it's just a hobby, help support that hobby. It might be sell them for book covers. So there's companies that you can kind of register them and have them as book covers, or put them on a site that sells them as artwork. If you don't want to do all the work yourself, there are sites that will print and do everything, and all you need to do is load them up. So I think sometimes sometimes people are afraid to make money from their work, or maybe they don't feel that their work is worth selling. But you never know until you try, and if people buy it, then it's definitely worth it. If people are going to buy it, then your work is worth selling.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So, let people know where they can find you online as well. So,
Yes, please.
first is the storyart.com.
Yes, that's the main one. You'll find everything on that one.
All right.
Yep.
Don't forget Behance. So behance.net/story_art.
Yep.
And facebook.com Story Art Australia.
Yep. Go ahead and follow me.
Yeah, Facebook's a bit frustrating. I tried to consolidate some groups I had created. I created like a strange and surreal group, and I created a digital art group, and I wanted to change the strange and surreal to digital art, and they wouldn't let me change like the URL. And I was like,
Okay.
how can you not let me change the URL? I changed the title of the group. but
Exactly.
so
Yeah, it does some very strange things, I have found. The other thing I want to encourage you to check out, and I don't think I gave you the direct link there, Andrew, but storyart.education. So that's where my site is to learn. So I have many different tutorials up on there. And I also run master classes 3 times a year. So we're in the middle of one at the moment. So we've got a group working through that. It goes for 8
see
weeks.
storyart.education.
That's correct. Yeah. Storyart.education.
There we go.
That's it. That's it.
Okay. And then there's a comment or a question is Andrea asks, where do you think people should start?
Yeah. I might need more of the question there, Andrea, of do you mean in selling your work or in learning how to do this kind of work, or perhaps.
Yeah, let us know, Andrea.
Yeah.
And then Douglas asks, how do you establish a price point for your art?
Okay, that's a really good question, actually, Doug. I kind of go with the amount per hour method, and then I work out how long will this take me, how can I make money afterwards. So sometimes you might create something that might make you a certain amount of money initially, like an artwork for someone, but then maybe you can sell that afterwards for more as well. So you sort of weigh up the end goal. So at the end, how much will I make from this piece? And I base my everything on $250 an hour. So that is, I run a company. I have to pay myself, so I don't get that $250 an hour. I get about a third of that, but that gives me a really strong price point for everything, knowing how long something will take me and how much I can make long term. So
Andrea's question where she said, where do you think people should start? She was referring to in selling.
Okay. Yeah. There's many different places you can go. So I did get an inquiry, or someone was wanting to sell one particular piece of their art and they wanted to know where to start. I think if you haven't got a website that people are following for your art, you need to get it out there first and get people sort of following the art, maybe enter competitions, and once you've sort of got a bit of a following for that art, then selling it through your own networks can work. But selling it through other networks is a really good way too, because they've already got the people that are looking for it. So I'm on a site called Blue Thumb. They are an Australian art sales site, so an online art gallery. And so I sell my work on my own gallery, but I also sell my work on Blue Thumb. And I've had sales on there because people are looking there that they've never heard of me before elsewhere. So Blue Thumb works well for me, and I can print that and send it out. There are other sites that are like Fine Art America and different places like that where they print it for you as well. So that's a good place too. Again, people are looking for the art. But yeah, there's many different ways of doing it. There's book covers. Archangel is another one that I'm registered with, so you can sort of design specific work that fits on book covers, and that might be then licensed. There's so many different ways. That's probably just a few of them.
Great. And a question I have is, so what is your opinion of NFTs? Would you be interested in jumping into that world and selling, auctioning, selling some of your work that way? Or
I'm open to it. I haven't done it yet. Blue Thumb is setting up for NFTs, so that was going to be my first go-to if they're accepting sort of a few people at the moment. But I would do it with cinemagraph versions of my work, I think. So I still haven't investigated it enough. But when I say cinemagraph, so the moving versions, right, where, where it's separate to a print. It's not something I can sell as a print. It's something that I would have to sell digitally. How do you sell digitally? Well, that seems to make sense to me. But
sure.
I'm still not all over that at the moment. It'll be an interesting journey.
Sure.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on it, Andrew? Do you sell NFTs?
In fact, I even did a live event where Leslie, was it Spurlock Kinzer, I think her name is, who's doing really good in that world talked about it. But the one thing I didn't like about it was the fact that you have to pay like a fee to this online gallery first before you sell your work. And I'd rather have it so that you put your work up, and if you sell your work, then they take their commission. That would be like
Yeah.
appropriate. I don't like the idea
Yeah.
of like you pay money and then I think so. The way it seemed to me was you could pay money and not do well or even sell your work, and they still make 300, 500, whatever dollars.
Right.
That seemed a little strange to me, but I think it's expanding, and every time you look, there's new news about it. So there's Facebook that wants to embrace it. There's Twitter now. You can even have like an NFT profile, I guess, which then links back to your gallery. As I said, Behance has a whole section for it for NFTs. And Instagram, I think there was some new news that Instagram was going to be having some NFT features. So it's not going away. It's only going to be more integrated with the way that artists can, sell their work. But when it opens up for galleries that do take a commission after you sell the work, I'll be more likely to kind of put my work on that. So
yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah. I believe that's the way Blue Thumb are handling it. Well, that's certainly the way they handled the print sales. But yeah, I'm just waiting to find out. Yeah, I don't want to devalue. It's one of those things, you don't want to devalue your print work or the work in any other form that you sell it. So I think it's a matter of differentiating it. Yeah.
But I have some creative friends that are doing pretty good with it. So I mean, when people say it's BS or it's not real, no, it's real. It's very real. People are doing good with it, but you need to be smart though. You need to do research, and people have been scammed. So you don't want to be scammed by falling for like a fake gallery. Go with an established gallery that has a reputation, that has reviews and feedback, not just some new kind of sparkly thing.
Yes.
So this was great to see your work, and good to hear your focus on the different ways of promoting your work and all that. And the gallery looks nice. So once again, just wanted to remind everyone that you can find Karen at storyart.com, on behance.net story_art, and on facebook.com Story Art Australia. So thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate it. And let's see, just Douglas says just a bricks and mortar gallery, Andrew. That's his preference, I guess. And Andrea says this was awesome. Thank you for watching, Andrea. Good to see you here. Professor Bat Slatson. I'm calling her that. So I will. Thanks everyone for attending. It was really great, and thank you so much, Karen. Really appreciate it. And might have to do another live with you where you just kind of jump right into Photoshop and show yourself creating one of these wonderful pieces. So.
Very happy to do that. Very happy to do that. Thanks everyone for joining. Really appreciate you taking the time out to watch and listen. So yeah, reach out to me if you have any questions. Always happy to help out.
Story Art. So yeah.